You need me to speak into one of the microphones?
Yes, please.
Check, 1, 2, 1, 2, check, check, check. Check, 1, 2, 1, 2, check, check, check. Check, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, check, 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 check.
Thank you. I got the audio, it's just a little bit low. So let me figure that out real quick.
But I checked everything else.
Does you want to plug into her?
I checked everything else and made everything else, so it's good. I didn't break it, I just did my job. I just did your job.
Do you want to plug into our system?
Oh yeah, I do have a cable.
Oh, okay. Because our audio might go through.
I think I just connected something the wrong way.
So there's a part of me that kind of misses like a physical interface because we have just like the digital interface.
It's
that's on the thing.
nice having the buttons tapped.
Yeah. What'd you do?
Is the podium, is it unmuted?
Oh, I don't know.
Podium mic? Check, check, 1, 2. Buckle my shoe. 3, 4, get out the dough. 5, 6, pick up some sticks. 7, 8, don't donate.
What'd you do?
I can't tell you the secret.
Yes, you can.
No, so what happened was that receiver that says podium,
Yeah.
that one broke the last time, and I can't get it to repair back to the wireless receiver. I think we just reprogrammed it to this one, which is number 12. Number 12. Number 12. Number 12.
So the only thing that may change, I think Rigsby is not going to be here, so I may have to ship Kuzma over, or it depends on Jen if she just wants to leave the plane. Yeah, that's right.
I mean, there's no benefit to the camera unless he had it. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's all really not.
So let me just leave them and then just take all that stuff on. But yeah.
Is this stuff in your way if you're filming in your camera angle?
Not if I'm gonna get the speaker specifically. I think I'll be okay.
This guy here?
No, I do have the mic in the way slightly.
Like I said, this guy is probably not here today, so maybe it's good that we just leave this guy not here.
Actually, I think I'm good to go.
Okay.
As long as I keep that mic out of the way.
Yeah, I don't know if it helps you with the cable, but normally they'll set up at the back.
Oh, at the back.
not that it matters to us, but for you, as far as your shot, then it's just, I don't know, one shot. Normally there's actually 3 cameras. Well, isn't there 3 back there?
Yes,
Good.
3.
Yeah.
But this was too last minute. We weren't gonna
Yeah,
be able to get back.
yeah. Whatever you want to do, or if you need us to accommodate you, we will.
For sure. I think I'll be able to get everyone's angle.
Okay.
I just gotta make sure the audio is looking good. Test, 1, 2, 3.
You'll be here tomorrow, Pete?
Yeah, what time?
Okay. Come tomorrow. I'll be here. Well, she said the locator, but
Yeah.
yeah. That's what I mean. See if it's not clear, we put in the next.
I saw one at my logo.
Really?
The little, maybe, maybe.
Yeah.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. This is Freddie Sedano. This is microphone 1. This is microphone 2.
afternoon, Dr. G. Welcome. Can you hear me?
I'm not real good at this, but I'm trying really hard. Okay, I got it. Yes, I
Okay,
can hear you, and thank you for your assistance in getting me set up. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, no problem. Welcome.
Mhm.
Let me go ahead. Hey, Member Charette, welcome back.
Hello, thank you very much. I'm glad to be back. I see you folks have been able to manage without me for a couple of years,
Yeah,
barely.
barely. Hello, Supervisor. Are you able to hear me?
I am.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yes.
Fred, nice to see you here.
Nice to see you. Thank you very much. Congratulations on your victory.
Well, thank you. It's nice to have the election behind us all, I'm sure, right?
Oh yeah, but now we start in 2 more years. Never ending.
meeting of the San Bernardino International Airport Authority. Today is Wednesday, January the 27th, and it's approximately 3 p.m. And we'll move on to the order of business, and I'm going to do a roll call before we go into closed session or after.
We can go ahead and do it now if you'd like.
Let's do that, please.
Okay, please announce your name for the record. Members from the city of Colton on the line.
Frank Navarro.
Dr. G, council member.
Thank you very much. Members from the county of San Bernardino, 3rd District on the line.
Conrad.
Thank you. Members from the city of Highland.
Penny Lilburn.
Larry McCallum.
Thank you. And members from the city of San Bernardino.
John Valdivia.
Juan Figueroa, present.
Fred Charette.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Do we have any closed session public comment?
The public was given until 1 p.m. today to submit emailed public comments. I received none, and there are none here in the audience today.
Thank you. We will now recess into closed session, if you would, please.
All right, so primary members, go ahead and remain on the line, and I will allow you into the closed session portion of the meeting momentarily. Thank you. Okay, Member Navarro, are you with us in the regular session? There you are. So we're just waiting on Mr. Burrows and Mr. Huber. He might have gotten kicked out by Zoom.
Good afternoon, Councilmember Gonzalez.
Good afternoon, welcome back, you guys.
Hey, Mike, you're back with us?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
No problem.
Welcome back, Mike.
Looks like we're just waiting on Mr. Huber to rejoin.
Okay.
Let's see, Penny.
Yeah, I saw Penny and Juan, so you might want to hit them.
Did, Mike, did they contact you saying that they couldn't get back on? Or did you advise them to try to
I'm talking to Scott right now, trying to
Okay.
get him to wrangle up.
Yeah, it looks like we're missing member Lilburn and member
Dusty
Figueroa as well.
is Dusty on?
I believe so. I know he, okay, I see Scott. Scott just rejoined.
Dusty's
Yeah.
complaining that the Zoom link never arrived.
I sent it, I saw him attempt to get admitted to close once we exited.
Okay.
We should have it, let me send it now.
And Jen, I'll try to connect with Penny here. Hang on.
So I went ahead and resent the Zoom link to members Lilburn and Figueroa and Rigsby.
If you would, please. I see Rigsby on.
I believe that's one of the iPads we had set up for him here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Stay tuned. We're getting there.
Okay, I see member Lilburn.
There's one more over there.
Hi. All right. Member
Welcome,
Lilburn
Penny.
is back. Member Figueroa
Hey,
is
Juan.
joining.
Hey, Juan.
And yeah, Huber got on here. So it looks like we're just waiting on member Rigsby. I'm not sure why he's having connection issues.
Well, Frank, I'll defer to you. I believe you got a quorum.
We'll get started. I'm going to get started. Dusty can join us as he's able to connect.
He's not showing up on the
So if I can have our attorney, Mr. Huber, read us out of closed session, please.
Thank you, Mayor Navarro. There was no reportable action taken in closed session.
Thank you very much, Mr. Huber. I'd like to call to order the open session of the San Bernardino Authority. Today is January the 27th, and it is approximately 3:23 p.m. And Madam Clerk, if we could please do a roll call.
Yes. Let's do one more roll call for open session. Please state your name for
Yes,
the
please.
record. Members from the city of Colton on the line.
Frank Navarro.
Dr. G, council member.
Thank you. Members from the county of San Bernardino 3rd District.
Don Round.
Thank you. Members from the city of Highland.
Penny Lilburn.
Larry McCallum.
Thank you. And members from the city of San Bernardino.
John Valdivia.
Juan Figueroa.
Fred Charette.
Thank you very much.
Hey. You good?
Yes.
Thank you. If I could ask Mr. Charette to lead us in the pledge today, please.
Sure, I'd be happy to. If everyone would stand and join me as we pledge to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Charette.
A little slip there.
That's okay. You got 99%.
You caught me off guard.
I like to do that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Any items to be added or deleted to today's agenda?
No items, sir.
Thank you very much. Any conflict of interest disclosures to be announced?
Was there reportable action out of closed session, Mr. Huber?
No reportable action.
That's correct. There was no reportable action taken in closed session.
Thank you.
Okay. Informational items.
All right, we have a few, and again, just want to welcome everybody into what is 2021. A few things. First off, as the new year brings, so does state law, and I'd like Ms. Pritchett to kind of give an update on how we're doing with complying with the various changes in OSHA compliance and the like. So, Kat, if you could.
Excellent. Good afternoon, everyone. Cal OSHA, which is one of the many regulatory agencies providing guidance related to coronavirus, recently mandated all California employers to establish and implement a written COVID-19 prevention plan called the CPP. The CPP provides employees and staff with guidance and procedures related to the evaluation of risks, corrective action, case investigations, communication, and general reporting to work criteria related to the virus. The CPP was reviewed by legal counsel, disseminated to staff in January, and although it's not included in your backup materials, I do have it available in case any of the commission members would like to review a copy. I am proud to report that As of today, we've had no industrial cases related to COVID-19, and we have no active cases related to COVID-19. So our staff is doing a fantastic job with all of the procedures in the CPP. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from commission members?
Good job.
Thank you.
So
Okay.
with that, commissioners, obviously you all have to deal with it in your respective roles and in your, other leadership positions. So just want to make sure you know that we've got eyes on the ball as well. I've got one little note here for some new friends of the family. And, President Navarro may want to welcome a few new commissioners. So, Frank, take it away.
Yeah, let me get to that page, okay, so I can see the names of the people. I don't have it handy right here right away. So let me get to that page. And you threw a curve at me, Mike.
Hey, you told me.
Okay, let me see here, 17, 18, 19, okay. Incoming commissioners, okay.
So we have Council Member Juan Figueroa. Welcome, Juan.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes,
Dr. Gonzalez from the great city of Colton as well. So Mr. Charette, welcome back. Who'd I miss?
I think that's it.
All right.
Again, go ahead, Mike.
No, please, Frank, take it away.
No, I was gonna say, hey, thank you for stepping up and making yourself available as an alternate here for this commission. It's an important commission, a lot of work to be done here at the airport, and hopefully you'll be there instead of the primary when the primary for whatever reason is unable to attend. So look forward to working with all of you. Thank you very much for stepping it up.
Yep.
Thank you, Mike.
And Supervisor Rao, I'm going to just do, in gracious gratitude, thank you for stepping up to be Vice Chair of our Board of Supervisors. Really appreciate that and your continued leadership. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you,
right.
Supervisor.
Yeah, last but not least, Mr. Gibbs. So January in the airport business is a busy month. We think fourth quarter is, and it is. But then we get to do a tally and a count and try to figure out how everybody did across the globe and the nation. And Mr. Gibbs and the team have done an extraordinary job yet again in tracking our statistics and numbers and getting that to the proper officials at FAA. So Mark, if you could, tell us how 2020 went.
Yeah, thank you, Mike, and good afternoon, new and returning commissioners. Like Mike said, we take the opportunity every January and compile the various statistics, and this is in line with what other airports do around the country. We report these industry metrics to the Department of Transportation, the FAA, and to the industry as a whole. And so we're happy to share these with you and give you a snapshot of how the airport is doing on a year-over-year basis. So the first slide here, slide number 3, if you could, Jennifer. This is the overall aircraft activity at the airport. We call them aircraft operations. And after 7 consecutive years of growth, we took a little pause in 2020. Still a strong year by all accounts, but we did dip a little, primarily due to the muted months of March and April earlier this year. So for the full year, 2020, we had a total of 56,553 aircraft landings and takeoffs. So that's either a landing or a takeoff, and that gets compiled by our air traffic control tower, and we had 56,000 of those for the year. And if you look at the next slide, all of the towers around the country report this same statistic. So if you take a look at the nation overall, there's an entirety of 520 air traffic control towers. And nationally, it was a rough year. So nationally, aircraft activity declined 16.7% on average. So meanwhile, your airport declined 6.5% for the full year. So if you compare that nationally, that's what this trend line shows. The airport's national ranking grew. So we got a little bit closer to number one. We're still a long ways away, don't get me wrong, but we've come a long ways as well. If you look back at 2012, we were near last in the country, and as of 2020, we had grown to the 273rd most active airport in the country. And to dive into those numbers a little bit further, to see where that growth or lack thereof is taking place, the next slide is a category of aircraft known as air taxi. These are primarily corporate aircraft and the smaller U.S. Forest Service aircraft. We saw a lot of growth in this business segment in 2020. Grew about 50% from the previous year in 2019 to about 6,900 aircraft movements. The other business segment or the other industry segment that we saw growth in is commercial aircraft. These are the large aircraft, be they, in our case, Forest Service aircraft, MRO related aircraft, and if you could go to the next slide, Jennifer. And cargo aircraft. We saw growth in this segment. This was our largest growth segment. I think it's important to point out that the infrastructure at San Bernardino Airport was designed for the larger aircraft. So those are the commercial air carrier sized aircraft and the business corporate type aircraft. And that's where we've seen the growth. Which is in line with what we continue to build and invest in at your airport. The next slide shows the landed weight of cargo aircraft. So these are the aircraft that are defined by the FAA criteria. These are aircraft that only move cargo. So they call them freighters. And for us, that's an important metric. It's something we track and report along with the other statistics. And we report it to the FAA. It's an important one because as this segment grows, our grant entitlement dollars also grow. And the next slide shows you how we trend nationally in this segment as well. Typically, there's 130 to 140 airports nationwide that accommodate this type of activity. You can see in 2016 and 17, we did not have a lot of activity in this industry segment. But we've grown in rankings quite aggressively since then. So we are currently the 79th busiest cargo airport in the country. And there's a big lag in this reporting activity for the FAA. So even though we just completed 2020, we won't know that national ranking for certain until September of 2021. But it's projected to be right around 60 based on the current year's activity. And lastly is our activity in flights clearing international customs at the airport. This activity also held steady for the year, dipped slightly along with the overall activity at the airport, but still remains strong as the growth has continued over the last 6 to 7 years. And that concludes my report of the annual activity taking place at your airport, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Do you have any questions from the commissioners on Mr. Gibbs' report? On the airport?
Mr. Navarro, if I may, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. I just want to commend the staff here for the very diligent efforts in 2020. The airport has experienced phenomenal growth and substantial growth. We're grateful for the leadership of staff members that provide day-to-day leadership. Certainly, Mr. Burrows, you've been incredible at bringing and attracting more business opportunities. And I think the challenge for us as we remain and grow is that this airport continues to be a hub and a center for activity as we launch into the 2021 season and 2022. There's always more growth opportunities here at the airport, and I'm very grateful for the leadership. I've been talking casually. I think there's more opportunities in China as we undergo the next phase. Certainly the pandemic has created a lot of concerns, but there is no room to rest, and I'll be looking at assisting and helping our administration here to launch efforts for the China market as well as the Mexico market. So anyway, job well done, and grateful for, once again, the staff, and terrific report. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Mayor.
you.
I just touched on that. Obviously, the market is dynamic and, momentum begets momentum. We hope the trend continues and appreciate the commission's support as always.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Burrows. Thank you, everybody.
For the
Next, I'd
record,
like,
Mayor, for the record, Member Rigsby has joined us, I believe, now.
okay, thank you. Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Rigsby.
Thank you.
Okay,
Finally got in.
Yes, welcome. Moving on to the agenda, let's move on to commission consent items. The chair presents to you the consent calendar, items 3 through 14, I believe it is.
Move for approval.
Chair, I'd like to pull item number 7, please.
Okay, Ms. Lilleberg wants to pull item number 7 for further discussion.
Move the
Any
ballots.
other items to be pulled? Hearing none. I have a motion from Mayor Valdivia. Chair will entertain a second to approve the consent calendar, items 3 through 14, minus item 7.
John Rowell, second.
Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk, would you please do a roll call vote?
Yes, I have a motion by Member Valdivia and a second by Member Rao to approve items 3 through 6 and 8 through 14.
Yes.
Excluding item 7. Please state your vote for the record. Member Navarro?
Yes.
Member Rigsby?
Yes.
Member Rao?
Yes.
Member Lilburn?
Yes.
Member Valdivia?
Yes.
And Member Figueroa?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay, going back to item number 7, Ms. Lilleberg.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to pull this off the consent calendar. I thought it would behoove our organization to be a little more transparent whenever we are increasing anything to do with commission salaries or stipends. And I just wanted to have discussion so the public would know that this wasn't an item that we were just going to rubber stamp, that we could have some sort of discussion. And I didn't see also mentioned that the alternates were given stipend as well. And I just thought that it would please, as far as I'm concerned, I think it worthy some discussion. Not that I'm opposed to it, I just wanted to bring it to the forefront.
Okay. Any comments or questions from commission members on Ms. Lilleberg's
I
item
believe
number
Supervisor
7?
Rao has some comment.
Okay, Supervisor, please.
Thank you. Well, I understand the purpose and the point of the stipend. I disagree with providing a stipend to members. I sit on, I think, a dozen different boards. Several of them are not paid at all. Many of them are at the $125 level. So I'm not necessarily respectful of staff survey, but I would not be in favor of the increase. I don't think it really behooves us. I expressed my concerns to Mike that I'd like to see almost us convert more to an electronic type of system and to take the stipend and do that. And he's talking about potentially looking into that. So I don't think, my opinion, that it falls in line with some of the other boards I sit on, and it's taxpayer money, and I'd like to see it go to the best use possible and leave our stipend the way it is. So I would not be in favor of this. Thank you.
Yeah. I myself, as president of the board, am also not very favorable towards this increase in the stipend. Like the supervisor, I sit on many other boards, and some of them are 120, some are 125. And I appreciate what staff has done following the recommendation of whoever brought this up. But I think that for transparency's sake, that we did bring it up for discussion. Thank you, Penny, for that. But I'm not in favor of it, so I can't support the increase in the stipend.
Yeah, and I would just chime in, appreciate the engagement with the commission, of course, as always, and staff was asked to look into this matter. Mr. Cousineau and team did due diligence. And when we mark to market, we have to do it with similar agencies. And we're kind of unique in the special district status. So those are the results that were presented. But it is a completely discretionary action at the will of the commission, period.
Yes. Yes, thank you. Thank you. And I thank the commissioners for their comments regarding this item. And again, thank you, Penny, for bringing it out. And Chair will entertain a motion on item 7.
Move the staff recommendation.
Second.
I have a first and a second. First by Mayor Valdivia, second by Councilmember Rigsby. Madam Clerk, would you please do a roll call vote?
Yes, please state your vote for the record. Member Navarro,
No?
Member Rigsby,
Yes.
Member Rao,
No.
Member Lilburn,
No.
Member Valdivia,
Yes.
and Member Figueroa.
Yes.
I believe the motion fails for lack of a quorum. Legal counsel, can you confirm?
It's not lack of a quorum. It fails because it was a 3-3 tie. It would need 4 votes from at least 4 votes from at least 3 agencies, and you don't have that. So the motion fails for lack of a majority.
Okay, point of order, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Mr. Valdivia.
Then if the motion fails, it's assuming the same salary schedule. And so I guess there's no further action needed.
That is correct. It stays at, the stipend stays at where it is at currently, which is, I think it's $150.
That's right.
And no further action is necessary.
Mr. Chair, can I make a comment? I know it's too late, but I'd like to make a comment anyway.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Rigsby.
I think there's a difference between members who have either a salaried position or a full-time political job. And for those of us who have to take a half a day off to do this, where the stipend pays, a small percentage of what we would have made if we'd stayed at work, there's just a little bit of a difference. And I know a lot of people think that politicians should be unreimbursed for what they do, but I don't agree with that. I think Supervisor Rao should be well paid for doing her job. I think the moves to cut her pay were ridiculous, and you end up with either people who are independently wealthy or people who are just, I don't know, seeking for pay. It kind of would be attractive to someone with minimum wage, that kind of thing. I'm not in favor of this kind of populism. I think it's semi-ridiculous, and that's why I voted yes. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Rigsby. Thanks for your comments. Okay. Moving on the agenda. As soon as I bring it up here, it's on my other page. Commission action items, item number 15. Adopt a resolution of the San Bernardino International Airport Authority in recognition of the services of the City of San Bernardino representative. And Mr. Burrows, I think you and I discussed this before, presentation to be done by Mayor Valdivia.
Yes, no, we want to appreciate, the council member and his dedicated support of our efforts. So to you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. I want to present this to Councilman Nickel. I don't know. There's my camera. This is a beautiful plaque resolution on behalf of San Bernardino International Airport Authority to Councilman Henry Nickel for his hard work and efforts here at the airport. We appreciate Henry, and we salute him in his endeavors and wish him well. And we'll hand deliver this to Councilman Nickel. And I won't read it, but Henry, we do appreciate you, and we thank you for your contributions here to the airport. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Valdivia. Item 16, receive and file the annual independent financial audit report of the San Bernardino International Port Authority for the year ended June 30th, 2020. Mr. Cosino.
Thank you, Mayor. We have completed our annual audit for the San Bernardino International Airport Authority, and we have with us today our audit firm, Rogers, Anderson, Melody, and Scott, represented by Rad Wellabeer, our engagement partner, as well as our in-the-field lead, Veronica Hernandez, and they're here to make a brief presentation on our successful audit. With that, Brad?
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. Good afternoon, members of the commission. We're here to present a summary of the financial audit that we performed this year. And I'm going to just give a brief introduction of how this year went and then hand it over to my colleague Veronica, who was the engagement lead on this project to go through our presentation. Overall, the audit went very well, and I believe you're going to be very pleased with the results of this audit, considering COVID-19 and the challenges that brought. It was an unusual year. However, the team there at the airport adapted very well to it, and we were able to complete our audit entirely remotely. And they were very accommodating in providing access to the information and doing these kind of Zoom calls and check-ins. And so we were able to accomplish all of the regular procedures that we needed to do, including looking over internal controls and financial account analysis and everything, just in a slightly different way. And incidentally, across our whole firm, probably over 90–95% of our audits this last year were done remotely. And overall, that went very well. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Veronica, and she's going to walk through the presentation you have on your screen.
Thank you, Brad. So we can go to the next slide, please. Okay, so let's start with our audit objective. We expressed an opinion over management's financial statements. We gathered and evaluated sufficient appropriate audit evidence to provide reasonable assurance that those financials are free of material misstatement. We provided an opinion as to whether those financial statements are fairly presented in all material respects with generally accepted accounting principles. Next slide. Some of the audit standards that we followed were generally accepted auditing standards and generally accepted government auditing standards. Next slide. Management's responsibilities are the financial statements. They provide a complete, accurate financial record and a comprehensive framework over internal controls, including those controls to prevent and detect fraud. The governing body has a fiduciary duty to ensure management fulfills its obligations over internal controls and financial reporting. Next slide. The auditor's responsibilities are to obtain reasonable assurance that those financial statements are free of material misstatement. We examine on a test basis evidence supporting those amounts and disclosures and assessed accounting principles and evaluated the overall financial statement presentation. And ultimately, we expressed an opinion over the authority's financial statement. Next slide. We issued an unmodified, otherwise known as a clean opinion. The financial statements are fairly presented in all material respects. The significant accounting policies have been consistently applied. Estimates appear reasonable and disclosures have been properly reflected. Next slide. So that concludes our brief presentation. We'd be happy to answer any questions at this point.
We also wanted to add that there was no single audit, that's the audit over the federal awards, necessary this year because the airport didn't meet the threshold to require that.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from commissioners regarding the audit? Okay, hearing none, seeing none. Thank you very much for the report, for your work, and thank you, staff, for your collaborative efforts with the auditors. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 17, consider and adopt proposed budget adjustments for fiscal year 2020, 2021. Mr. Burrows.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Wanted to just, again, recognize our Finance and Budget Committee members. we have been tracking the numbers more carefully than ever, as most organizations do these days. And Mr. Cousineau has identified a few funds that need adjustment where we're at today. And you'll see later on in the presentation, we are targeting potentially another reset next month. But thus far, the usual suspects, I guess, Mark, are up in front of you. And Mr. Cousineau, please take it away.
Thank you, Mike. This budget adjustment arose from our monthly tracking of expenditures and also was discussed in part with today's finance and budget meeting. Primarily, we're requesting an increase in expenditures and for electricity, refuse, and security and fire alarm monitoring within the general fund and property management fund. The electricity is due in part due to we have been working to transfer the electrical service to our tenants. That has not gone as fast as we would like. We have also been subject to a Edison rate increase that occurred April of 2020. I will say that we monitor the electrical usage every month, and we are looking, there are no overages or unusual usage that we have seen. Refuse appears to be a rate increase, and we're working to get in the field and take a better look and to get an understanding with that. Mayor Valdivia was kind enough to give us a contact over at Burtec, so we're going to contact them as well. And with security, fire and alarm monitoring is primarily driven through rate increases and site work for either repairs or installing new alarms. And the final item is a transfer from the FBO to the general fund for $750,000 for a net budget adjustment of $539,000. That completes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Cousineau. Any comments or questions from commission members? Okay, hearing none. Need a motion to approve this. And was that Mayor Valdivia?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Chair will entertain a second on that item.
Figueroa, second.
Figueroa, second. Thank you, Mr. Figueroa. I have a motion and a second to approve the item. Madam Clerk, would you please take a roll call vote?
Yes, please state your vote for the record. Member Navarro?
Yes.
Member Rigsby?
Yes.
Member Rao?
Yes.
Member Lilburn?
Yes.
Member Valdivia?
Yes.
And Member Figueroa?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 18. Let me scroll down here to item number 18. Consider and discuss the San Bernardino Good Neighbor Program Quarterly Report. Presenting on this is Mr. Mark Gibbs.
Thank you, Mayor. In recent years, aircraft activity, as reported out earlier, has continued to grow and evolve. And as that's taken place since 2019, staff has been working with industry partners to develop a responsive and informative program and develop specialized tools and services to help track and manage community expectations and understand it as the airport continues to grow and evolve. So part of that program, we've partnered with the specialized firm Aviatrix to help develop some of those tools and some of those community outreach initiatives. And born from that was the Good Neighbor Program. And we report back to this commission as part of the outreach tools every quarter. So here to walk us through the latest quarterly report is Miss Rosemary Barnes with the Aviatrix communications firm. And I'd like to hand it over to Rosemary to walk you through the report. Rosemary.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbs. Welcome, Rosemary.
Thank you, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Good, wonderful. Hello, Mayor Navarro and commissioners and Mike and Mark. I'm really pleased to be back here with you to deliver a report on the Good Neighbor Program and the activities and engagement that we were involved in for Q4. So Jennifer, if you can go to slide 4, please. So in our socially distant world, we've continued to find ways to engage and connect with our neighbors. Social media continues to be a big focus. For the last quarter, we emphasized our airport team and our tenant support to the community, and especially our air cargo partners as they continue to deliver essentials and year-end holiday items and wishes to our neighbors' doorsteps. We also developed preferred flight procedures videos for our pilots, and I'll demonstrate that for you in a little bit. And our quarterly newsletter, we continue to publish that, and we're putting the final touches on the winter issue that we'll be sharing with you in the coming days. But we also stepped up efforts to make sure that we were getting that to our target audiences, boosting and just soliciting our community members and trying to get them to subscribe, and we made great inroads with that. We also emphasize communicating with our neighbors in their preferred language. And Spanish, of course, was a focus. We wanted to make sure our neighbors were able to get aircraft-related questions answered and to provide us their feedback in their native language. So we're really pleased to have delivered that. Jennifer, slide 6, please. So as I said, the preferred flight procedures videos. We developed this latest tool in our toolbox and in cooperation with the airport tower. These videos are designed to educate our pilots on how they can minimize their impact to the community. We've developed procedures for both arriving and departing each end of the runway. And Jennifer's going to go ahead and click and demoing the particular video for aircraft landing runway 6, the western end of the runway. So you see there, landing runway 6 from various directions, the western end of our runway. And we've also, of course, have videos on our website for landing runway 24, as well as departing both ends of the runway. So these videos were shared with our pilots. They're there on our website to allow them to understand those preferred highways in the sky, to help minimize their impact on our community and just to raise awareness. Next slide. However, it's always important to remember that the pilot in command has the final authority as to the safe piloting of their aircraft. Okay, I'm going to ask Jennifer to move along to slide 19, focusing on those year-end numbers. But before I do so, I want to point out that, I think one more, yeah. I want to point out that Q4 was a much quieter quarter, especially compared to Q3, when, of course, firefighters were combating local and national wildfires from the air. So we were really pleased with the Q4 numbers. We had a total of 43 comments from 9 distinct households. So you see before you the year-end numbers. The slide shows the number of comments. There were a total of 200 comments for the year, and those were filed from 63 distinct households. Of the 200 comments received in 2020, 144 of them, or over 70%, were filed by 39 distinct households in Highland. Slide 21, please. And this is the breakout in the types of comments we received from our community members. And then, of course, how our community members filed their comment. And you see that the web form continues to be the preferred choice for our neighbors, as well as apparently the easiest for them to be able to share their information. Next slide, please. And in this slide, I just want to point out that we do give our neighbors the option of asking for a response to their comment, and the airport team makes every effort to respond to them and to connect with them if that's what they so choose. And then slide 25 to wrap it up. Okay, so obviously, as we've heard many times today, 2020 was just a very difficult year for all of us, both personally and professionally. Our airport team and partners, though, they stepped up efforts to deliver solutions to take care of our neighbors. They also elevated, the airport elevated efforts to educate pilots on the neighborhood noise sensitivity. As Mark said earlier, you know, our aircraft operations are increasing, and with that, the noise comments are too. But know that the number of noise comments do remain considerably lower than at any other commercial service airport in California. So Mark and I can answer any questions you may have, but know that this report is loaded to our website. You'll also see it as part of the winter 2021 airport, the good news letter that will be landing into your emails in just a few days. And I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from commissioners regarding this item? Okay. Rosemary, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good work. Moving on to the agenda, we'll move on to item number 19, view status of action plan for San Bernardino International Airport Authority through June 30th, 2021. Mr. Burrows, this is yours.
Thanks, everybody. And again, appreciate Rosemary and the team for their work on the Good Neighbor report. That's actually an FAA regulated process, and you know it can be a bit intricate, but it's important that we produce the facts and everybody gets to see them. So thank you, commissioners, for indulging us on that. As far as the action plan goes, for our new members, and again, welcome. We really appreciate you and your leadership and your input. This is kind of a snapshot. So we have a strategic plan, we've got a business plan, and then from the staff level, you know, I'm a bludgeon for punishment, I guess. We do an action plan to try to keep track of things internally so that we deliver on the expectations that you all, expect. So as of right now, you heard a great, thorough report of how the airport is doing rounding the corner of January here. Next month, we do have a very important but local exercise called an emergency tabletop. And this helps us maintain our FAA certifications. The great team of airport operations with Mr. Gibbs and Nick Person have definitely gotten creative on ensuring that we do this the right way. And FAA has certainly been responsive in trying to help us maintain status in that. As I mentioned earlier, we might have one or two more budget adjustments, but thus far, Mr. Cousineau and the finance crew have kept the ship afloat quite well. And of course, like everybody, going into March, we're looking at legislative aspects. Our industry changes about every hour, so we're keeping up to speed and appreciate all your support. Definitely, if any of you hear of opportunities, we want to be on the ready and responsive to the organization and the JPA as a whole. So happy to answer any questions. Concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Burrows. Any questions or comments from commissioners?
Chairman?
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I wanted to, if we could put up the slide again, please. My observation, I think we're headed right on the legislative platform aspects. And we appreciate those updates in March. Would it be possible also to maybe beginning in that November into December, kind of looking back, but this is now discussion, is talking about legislative priorities and a platform so that we can present to state organizations and our state assembly members and state senators. But the March 2020 legislative update, I appreciate that. That's good. We need that as well. But my recommendation, Mike, would be, Mr. Burrows, is to also have craft that platform so we can have those discussions and the priorities, you know, be it grants or be it a wish list to convey to our state assembly members. So that would be my observation. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mayor Valdivia.
And to the mayor's, and to the mayor's point, this is geared very much from the airport perspective to the federal platform. And we can certainly have an item on your next agenda in February talking about where the opportunities lie. The state level, there are additional opportunities, but there's a bit of dynamics in play here that we're trying to get sorted out. But happy to ramp it up, and we'll go to the mat.
Great. We'll talk about it some more. Okay. Anything else, Mr. Burrows?
No, sir. Thank you, commissioners.
Okay. So therefore, there being no other business to attend to, you didn't cover the action plan?
That was it. We're good.
That was it. Okay, we're good. Okay, I got it. All right then. There being no other business to attend to for the San Bernardino International Port Authority, this meeting is now adjourned.
And please note there's no public comment.
God bless America. God bless San Bernardino and all the communities therein. Have a good day, everybody. Enjoy your evening, and we'll see you the next time.
Thank you.
Agreed, Mayor. Thank you.
Stay safe.
Stay safe.